New York has been waiting for Roman Anthony, who made quite the debut with the home run that put the Red Sox up 6-3 over the Yankees last night. Very, very badly needed. And you hear Alex Bregman there after the game talking about his young teammate, having to remind himself that he's just 21 years old because the guy's composure, his maturity. Like at one point, I think it was Bobby Manning from CLNS who asked him about, hey, like, what advice are you going to give him? And he's like, I don't know. What advice can I give him? He's perfect. Everybody in the clubhouse is basically telling you Roman Anthony is perfect. And I do want to say, I see a lot of texts coming in on the text line, concerns about Jones and Keefe. Yeah. Which a lot of people
you're stuck with us for a few
Jones
more hours,
Keefe,
folks. Sorry.
Jones and Keefe will be back on Monday, as far as I know, I promise. They're just taking a little vacation after a long summer and a lot of work and a lot of great work on the Jimmy Fund. So it's Meghan, Ottolini, and John Lyons with you up until 2 o'clock today. We are expecting to have a Patriots player. I think it's going to be Mike Onwenu at 1:15. So we'll talk to him about the stress around cutdown day. I would hazard to guess that guy's okay. He's like maybe the one certain piece of your offensive line, but we'll talk to him, and we'll talk to him about the preseason and everything under Mike Vrabel, who's searching out rats like Jack Nicholson in The Departed right now. We'll get to that later in the show. We'll talk Patriots for sure. We'll talk a really strange movement that's happening across Boston that I would like to personally speak to. But we'll have a lot of Red Sox.
Yeah, I believe that's a movement Zach Coe is a big supporter of. We'll find that out later. But, yeah, it's the Roman Anthony thing I think has been awesome to watch because it reminds me so much, Mego, of a few years back when the Royals first called up Bobby Witt. And you're like, wow, this dude's going to be a top 10 player in baseball not too long. Or when the Padres first had Fernando Tatis Jr. up, and you're like, wow, this is something special. And you watch Roman Anthony, and you just feel like, not now, but within 2 or 3 years, we're going to be talking about him as a top 10 player in baseball. He's already arguably the best player in their lineup. I mean, I know Bregman's obviously been really good, and I know Rafael, especially that you combine with what he's done in the field, has been really good, and Abreu's got over 20 homers. But, I mean, just since the All-Star break, Mego, Roman Anthony's hitting .308, and I think even more impressive, 22 walks since the All-Star break. That's sixth in the majors, and the guys ahead of him, Ohtani, Tatis Jr., Mike Trout. Like, that's the class of guys with his plate discipline that he's in. Like, and he's doing so many things well. It's been really fun to watch, and I wish they brought him up earlier, but it's been a lot of fun to watch. Like I said, I really think he's on the track where 2027, 2028, we're going to be talking about one of the top 10 best players in baseball.
Dark and Stormy Nights from the Twitch chat says Jones and Keefe are vacationing together.
They could be.
They could be. I don't think they are. I think they're
Billy Lanny's out today, so maybe he joined them. You know, maybe it's a big show vacation.
That would be quite adorable.
Showcation.
I would love that for them, but I'm pretty sure they're all with their individual families.
Yeah, I think
spending
they're
a little quality time. But
huddled around their radio listening to us.
If they did have a 3 boys trip, you know, out somewhere on the Cape, I would love that for them. I think that would be very cute. And I would be very much in support of that, especially if Odyssey was footing the bill for them, because they've been doing great work this year.
Then I would doubly support it.
I just don't think that's the case.
I don't think so either.
Could be all 4 of them with Nick. He's not here.
Oh, that's true. Nick's
God. This is true. This is a true summer Friday for the regulars. And I love being here with you, John Lyons, but I got to say, this is when you get the vacation in before football season truly starts.
Yeah.
Like for us, our summer ends at the beginning or at the very end of July, because that's when training camp starts. That's the best look that you can get at the Patriots. But anyway, I'm digressing. With Roman Anthony, is it time to put him in the conversation that I like to have, which is the Crochet versus Bregman, who's the biggest impact on this team this year?
Yeah, I mean,
do we throw Roman Anthony? Is he in that level of conversation yet?
Yes, and look at when did they call? Was it June 8th or 9th? Whenever they called him up that day. Since that date, they've been one of the best teams in baseball, and he's a huge part of it. And they have him hitting. He's been so good. They have him hitting leadoff now. I mean, in a real conversation for Rookie of the Year. And I know the A's got a couple really good rookies, but he's in that conversation. And he missed the first 2 months of the year down in AAA. Like, he's been that good. Their offense has gotten much better. Like I talked about in the first segment, how suddenly in June and July, the Red Sox are much better with runners in scoring position than before that. I don't think it's a coincidence that that's when he came up. So, yeah, I think it's Crochet, Bregman, and Anthony. You know, pick your team MVP. And another guy like Trevor Story, who's had a much better last couple months, and I think he's still the team leader in RBIs in that conversation. But I think it's a Bregman, Crochet, Anthony conversation.
So according to ESPN, and I'm not a betting person, as I always disclaim, the American League Rookie of the Year favorites right now, Nick Kurtz from the A's, as you said, he's a minus 15,000. But Roman Anthony is 25-1. Cam Smith from the Astros is 35-1. Dominguez from the Yankees is 50-1. So
Anthony's second.
Anthony's definitely in the conversation, but it looks like Nick Kurtz from the A's
he's been awesome.
Gonna run away.
Wasn't he
with
the guy that went like 8 for 8 in that game too? A while
Yeah,
back?
4 home runs.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, well, the A's. I mean, talk about a team that just sucked forever. They finally have some good young players. I guess I don't know, but yeah, Anthony being in that conversation, it's again. I don't think it's just him in the Rookie of the Year conversation. I think you see the trajectory of we're going to be talking about him like a Bobby Witt in a couple of years. We're going to say, hey, this top 10 player in all of Major League Baseball. Like, it's again, and to me, it's the plate discipline as much as anything else.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's not just the home run last. The poise in the 9th inning, the home run at Yankee Stadium is really cool to see. But all the walks he's drawn, especially in key spots.
And that's something that I don't know if that is just something that developed super early for him in the minor leagues or if it comes naturally to him, but that's kind of who he's been since he's been up at the major leagues level. Like it's not like it's something that's been a big learning curve for him. And I think when you listen to Alex Cora talk, that's really the composure that he's talking about. He's not trying to force something, especially being in big spots like he was last night. Somebody else who's made an immediate impact on this team is Nathaniel Lowe, who I'm trying to get the nickname The Crucible going for. Maybe you want to throw him the Scarlet Letter, because I just think he has one of those weird, like, old New England names that goes all the way back.
I'm in on The Crucible.
You like The Crucible?
One. Yeah.
I don't really know what a crucible is other than the novel/play.
Yeah, it's the thing Johnny Tremaine burnt his hand on, right? Isn't in that book, right?
I don't know.
Yeah. Go back and look.
You can call in to find The Crucible. Yeah. I'm familiar with the play. I'm familiar with the movie that starred Winona Ryder from the 90s. But this is our own Rob Bradford from Baseball Isn't Boring. He sat down with Nathaniel Lowe to talk about how he got released from the Washington Nationals just on August 16th and how quickly that turnaround was to Boston.
And I went to the field, turned the corner, and GM's in the office. I'm like, well, I'm getting taken off the roster. So I called him, and thankfully he was there to help me pack up my rental house. And that was Thursday afternoon that I got cut. Most of it was packed Thursday night, put the finishing touches on everything Friday morning, and I'm at home in Texas with her waiting to see what happens like the next day.
Oh.
Yeah, so Thursday DFA'd, Friday at home, Sunday afternoon flying out to Boston. Tuesday I'm in the starting lineup, and I get to hit a homer at the end of the game.
So a wild turnaround for Nathaniel Lowe getting released from the Nationals. To be fair, like for how good he's looked in the very limited time that he's been here, his OPS was a career low through 119 games with the Nats, and they have this focus that they're one of these clubs that's not going anywhere this season, so they want to focus on the development of the young guys. But it looks like having him on a minimum contract, like this is a great steal from the front office. Like give the front office credit when they, and again, it's a very small sample size, but he got you through this game, and he was a huge contributor in maybe one of the worst losses of the season. Like he's certainly stepping up to the plate quite literally where you need him to.
Nice to have a competent first baseman too, right? I feel like they've been looking for that for a while, but this is a guy that in 2022 had 27 homers and hit 300, and he was a big part of the Rangers winning the World Series in 2023. He had 3 homers in that playoff run. So this is a guy that I know he struggled this year. If they can get competent first base play and some of that power production out of him that he had with the Rangers, that'll be a nice addition to your lineup. And again, it's another guy, and you and I have talked about this, how they're relying so much on young players in this stretch run. It's nice to have another guy besides Bregman in your lineup that knows what it takes to win a World Series, right? Knows what it takes to go deep in October, even if he struggled this year. Like that's just like Chapman in the bullpen and Buehler in the rotation. It's good to have guys that know what it takes to win in September, to win in October. And I think Lowe is another one of those guys. Now, is he going to be, a 20 home run guy like he was a few years ago? Probably not. But if you can get decent production out of him with good first base play, or at least solid first base play, I think it's a really good move.
So going back to what you talked about with the young players, and so much of the emphasis right now has to be on Roman Anthony and what he's been for you, does beg the question, did you wait too long to bring Anthony up to the major leagues?
Oh, 100%.
What is behind that? Because it's hard not to be very cynical and say this was a contract situation. This was the Red Sox trying to save themselves a little money. Since he's been up here, like, it's kind of like a lose-lose debate for them, because since he's been up here, he's been polished, practically perfect in every way. And so they could say, whoa, look, he needed that time to be here, but it obviously looks like with all the one-run games that you've lost this season, sure would have been nice to have somebody who had that composure at the plate earlier. And
his last few weeks in AAA, he was tearing the cover off the ball. Like, he looked ready well before that. And you combine it with a couple other outside factors, and like Marcelo Meyer was more experienced than Campbell, had a better spring training, but they played Campbell anyway to start, and he fell off after a good first month, but then fell off. And the Anthony situation too, like the way they promoted him, it was like on a Tuesday afternoon, they're like, all right, come to Boston, you're going to play. Where I feel like a lot of times with these young players, they try to start them on the road or give them more advanced notice. So I didn't really love the way they handled that. And
what do you mean? What do you think that means to you?
I just think maybe either, I don't want to say they were bending the pressure, but almost like they were scrambling a little bit. Like, oh, our offense is bad. Because that was at the point where they were really bad with runners in scoring position. Their offense was, having an 18-run game, but then 5, 2-run games. So maybe they're like, oh, crap, we got to do something. We got to get this guy up here.
You're telling me that the Red Sox did something for optics?
Maybe, or just a little bit of scrambling and how bad their lineup was. But yeah, it could be an optics thing as well. Because again, a lot of times with these young players, I feel like traditionally they would try to start them out on the road, or at least with a little bit more notice. And and Marcelo Meyer was the same thing. He got the call on like a Saturday late morning, early afternoon.
Couldn't find his freaking car keys.
And they were like, oh, we have a game at 4 on this Saturday. Marcelo, come up and be in the lineup. Like that. So I feel like they wait. It's weird because they waited too long to call both of them up. But then when they actually did it, they rushed it in the moment. It's just kind of bizarre that they did. Like, you wonder if these two guys are on the opening day roster, Mego, would they be first in the AL East right now?
That's what I'm saying.
Or closer to
They're
first.
even calling it out on the broadcast last night, which wasn't my favorite. Like, I don't know. Maybe I've just gotten too used to the voices on NESN and our voices on WEEI. But I thought that it was like a really lackluster broadcast.
Oh, I love the Fox National games.
Really?
Yeah. And
Why?
I like Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN a lot.
I like Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, actually. But last night it felt like too lackluster
Maybe
to me.
A little more
It might have been the nature
Thursday
of the
night.
game being so messy and sloppy, but but they did point out, like, okay, the difference for this team, for this Red Sox team, has been the one-run games. And it's hard not to look at the Roman Anthony situation and say, to your point, if he's on the opening day roster, maybe the learning curve is a little steeper for him, but seeing who he's been since he's been up here, it's hard to buy that hypothetical.
Yeah, and in their first 13 one-run games, the Red Sox are 4-9. And I know Anthony had a tough first couple of weeks, but if he has those tough first couple of weeks a little earlier and then he hits the ground running sooner, I think you would be better. It surprised me that of the quote-unquote big three, Campbell was the one that was on the opening day roster.
Yeah. And that's where it looks like Campbell played ball with a contract.
And he did, right? And that's something that, remember, Rafaela played ball with a contract, and they had him up relatively early a year ago. It's, you hope that's not the case, but it seems like it is.
It just kind
especially
of
for a
seems
big
that
market
way.
team. Like it's one thing if the Pirates want to screw around with that stuff, but come on.
Let's go to Sorja in Mansfield, one of our favorites. How you doing this Friday, Sorja?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Doing okay. What's going on?
Really quick here. The thing that's grinding my gears so much is that a couple weeks ago, Cooper Criswell, he had a great start, 7 innings, I believe it was, against the Astros. I just don't understand why he's not getting back into the rotation. I mean, like, every time Walker Buehler's on the mound, you just praying to God that it's not like a 6 earned runs in 4 innings, right? And I think my biggest complaint with this team now is, like, the trade deadline has come and gone. We can't spend any more time complaining about it, but I think my biggest complaint is the streakiness of this team, right? You see so many times where they'll score 14 runs, right? But then in a 4-3 game, they just can't get you one run. And all I want for this team is to be in a position until the end of the season with the AL East with the Jays. And I think it's that September 24 series. It'll be really interesting if they're 2 games behind the Jays and they kind of sweep the Jays and then win the AL East that way, because I think if this team is hot, they can make a deep postseason run.
Thank you, Sorja. I feel like we are in a deja vu moment. Criswell's on the IL.
Yeah.
Worcester just put him on the 7-day
like
IL.
the Von Grissom thing, it was like I don't know how long a stint it's going to be, and you still wonder why they weren't up here before.
Right.
I don't know. And Greg Hill and Chris Curtis were talking about this morning a little bit. If this Red Sox team, I think we have to resign ourselves as just a streaky group with so many young guys. I think that's just kind of what they are.